studies have shown that isolation can be linked to many negative, both mental and physical health struggles that people face. In today's episode, we are going to explore the importance of having a community of support around you. And I'm not talking just for people who are recovering from an addiction, but also those mama bears out there, or maybe somebody who's active in the political world, or maybe just a person that feels like, hey, I don't want to be alone. So today, let's dive right in and discover how building connections and having relationships with other people can not only help us thrive, but it can help us succeed in all areas of our life. Hi, I'm Jenna Dix, and I'm always rambling. Just ask my husband. I have a great family and a pretty cool life, but I'm a recovered alcoholic. That's hard to say, but my goal is to inspire and educate to help others hopefully find life beyond an addiction. I'm all things: sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Getting healthy, momming, and politics. Get offended easily? You better stop listening. There is no point in wasting that Botox by stressing yourself out listening to a podcast. Welcome to Ramblings of an Addict with Jenna Dix. Today's episode is brought to you by products and services I am thoroughly addicted to and cannot live without. And I am totally addicted to a house that smells beautiful. I need to introduce you to Michelle Beadles, independent consultant with Scentsy, the brand that brings warmth, comfort, and joy to your life with their beautiful fragrance products. Whether you're looking for a cozy scent for your home, a soothing aroma for your workspace, or a thoughtful gift for a loved one, Scentsy has you covered. Their selection of wax warmers, diffusers, and fragrance products will transport you to your happy place, all while keeping your space smelling fresh and inviting. Try Scentsy today and experience the magic of their scents. Check the show notes to place your order with Michelle today. Hello and welcome to today's episode. I am so excited to have you here, and I want to thank you so much for joining me. I honestly want to say I have been so overwhelmed with the love and support you guys have shown since I've launched this podcast. It's only been about a month at this point, and the amazing comments that I've received, the reviews I've been seeing, I am feeling the love. With that, I definitely want to encourage that if you have yet to, make sure you're following the podcast. So on Apple or on Spotify, make sure you're subscribed/following. So that way, whenever a new episode is downloaded, it goes right into your queue list. In addition, I would totally appreciate if you would rate the podcast and leave a review. That way I know what your thoughts are, and I can make sure if there's any thoughts you have, tweaks or thoughts, I want to make sure I'm honoring that, because this podcast is a great place for me to share some ideas and some tips, but in the end, it's for you, and I want to make sure it's what you want it to be. So also encouraging, if this is something you are enjoying, share it with other people, right? Why keep it to yourself? If there's a tip that you're like, dude, that's awesome, share it. All right. So with that, let's dive right into today's episode. As I was saying in the introduction, today is all about the importance of building connections. It truly can be the magical piece to helping us create more success and more happiness in our lives. Whether you are a new parent and you're just trying to navigate parenthood, or maybe a politician and you're striving to make that positive impact on your community, and you don't want to feel alone in the journey. Maybe, like me at one point, right? You're that recovering addict seeking to maintain your sobriety, but it can feel very alone at points. having a supportive community around you can really help up-level whatever you're doing in life, because you know, hey, there are people here in my corner with me. They may not be on the exact same point in the journey, but they understand, they empathize, they love, they support, they're holding me accountable. So, like I said, it truly can be the difference maker. And God, I think, recognized this, right? He knew it wasn't good for man to be alone. Hence, he made man a partner. That's what it's about in life. You don't want to be alone. And I think we all felt this to a point firsthand during COVID. You know, the facts don't lie. The facts are out there that during COVID lockdowns, when a lot of people were starting to feel more isolated, the mental health stats, the physical health stats, didn't look so great. And there's a reason for that. So I think that many of us moms especially know the importance of this, because we wouldn't say, oh, I need to make sure I'm socializing my child, if we didn't know in our hearts, hey, this is important. But yet, we're quick to forget that when it comes to ourselves. But today, I'm going to dive right into this and explain a little bit about, hey, yeah, not only is this important for your kids, this is important for us as adults too. Talking about the whys behind it, talking about where you can start to look to build your community further, and how to do it. So the why, the where, and the how. All right, so the whys. There are, like I said, a lot of benefits to creating your community. Number one, when you're surrounding yourself with other people, you get to learn from each other. You get to learn from their experiences, the knowledge that they have, and whatever things they've gone through, they can share with you. You know, why go through things the hard way, especially if somebody already has done it and they can share with you, hey, don't do XYZ, try ABC instead, right? Truth be told, that is the reason I love coaching. That is the reason I love social media. That's the reason I love things like podcasts, because it's a great way to kind of have that feel of community. You can learn from each other. But obviously up-leveling that even more and having true tribe around you can help even further. In addition, it's a great opportunity to network for a variety of things. I mean, you can, obviously network for business, but you can network to find out, hey, what doctor do you like for your kid? Or, my network is what helped me find our pediatric dentist for McKenna. The network we have can truly bring a lot of value to life. It also helps us gain new perspectives when we have a community that surrounds us. Especially for people like politicians, this is really important because it can truly help them get a better understanding of what people's real needs and concerns are. Encouragement. That's another really huge benefit of having a community and a tribe around you. Whether it's your mom tribe and you're like, dude, my kids are driving me nuts today. Or maybe you hit up some of your fellow sobriety warriors. I'm having a rough one. I really just need some support. Opportunities to improve your skills, right? When you're meeting with your community, with your tribe, you're getting a chance to sit down, have great conversations, and build your personal skill set. Whether it's just basic communication skills, which, I don't know, being a little bit brash here, I guess, I think a lot of our communication skills nowadays suck. Thanks to social media and thanks to our texting and our cell phones, we don't have as many opportunities to communicate face-to-face, belly-to-belly like we used to. And even when we are communicating via, phone calls and texts, it's just different. So it's a great opportunity just to improve our communication skills and our collaboration skills in addition to that, right? Sitting down and actually getting back to the basics of, teamwork, which I can be honest, that was never my forte in school, but not so much because of the communication piece, but more my personality of I just want to take charge, get it done, and I don't really care what your excuses are. Fine, I'll just sit down and do the project. But collaboration is huge. It's going to help you get along with your family better. It's going to help you get along with your coworkers better if you can sit down and actually know how to function within a community. The last benefit that I wanted to dive into was that validation, right? It's almost like that reassurance of, okay, hey, I'm normal. When you get to sit with your community and chat a little bit about what's going on, like I said, they might not be on the same exact point that you are, but a lot of times they're able to validate and kind of give you that feeling of, all right, I'm not wackadoodle, like this is normal, and things will get better or things will improve or, this is just a stage or whatever that reason is, right? For example, chatting with other moms and you're like, my kid is doing, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, my kid did that too. Don't worry about it. Oh, okay, thank gosh, right? One tip that I did want to talk about, though, side little thing. Obviously, there's a ton of benefits of having a community. But I think especially in the recent years, we've learned that it can also create that group think. And we need to be cautious with this. It honestly is important for you to ensure that when you're building your tribe, try to have a variety. Have a variety of group mates or have a variety of different communities that you surround yourself with so that you are not just hearing one viewpoint all of the time. I think our society needs to lean into this a little bit more as a whole, myself at points included, right? There's points that, you listen to my podcast, you know where I fall. There's points where I'm like, okay, I need to talk to somebody who is not a really headstrong Christian conservative at the moment, just to hear their perspective. Those are typically the types that I get along with the best, but sometimes I just need to hear that other side of it to know, all right, tell me what your thoughts are on this. So having a community, having a tribe that has your back, but also being cautious that you don't live there 100% of the time. All right, let's get into the where. Where do you even start to build your tribe? Well, one of the first places that popped into my mind was work, right? For a lot of people, especially who are still working the typical 9 to 5 or typical 40-hour-a-week job, you're spending a crap ton of your time there. A lot of my tribe mates back in the day used to come from work because I spent so many hours with these people. One of my absolute best friends to this day is still somebody that I worked with back in high school. But we spent so many hours together that we just built the bond. This has, I think, shifted in the last few years thanks to COVID and a lot of people starting to work from home. But even if you're working from home, but you're still chatting with people over the platforms at work or however you communicate, you can still build really good bonds. I chat with my coworkers that some of them were across the country, but I still felt like I knew them and I knew they had my back. Another one, if you're in school, right? That's a great place, especially if you're in college or, typically my listener, right? A lot of you are moms, especially if you are in school right now and you're a mom. Connecting with another mom who's in those exact position points that you are, it can be helpful because not a lot of people understand what you're going through. But even beyond that, I remember my cousin, she was in her late teens. I don't even think she'd hit 20s yet. She was in her late teens, and one of her best friends in college was a mom who was, I believe, like 10 years older than her. She was in the military, completely different storylines, but they supported each other and became really good friends. Another good one is church, especially in today's times. If you are somebody who your faith means a lot to you, find those tribe mates at church, because they are going to be people that really understand your values and your morals and what you're striving for and what you want to integrate into your family life. Athletics. If you are somebody that's into sports, by all means, find those people that get that, right? Like my husband, I am so thankful he has a few buddies that will go hit the rink with him, because his wife sure as hell won't. I don't like to be cold. You want me to put on skates that I'm uncomfortable in? I can barely skate across the ice, right? No thanks. Call your buddies. It's super important to have people in your community that enjoy the same hobbies you do as well. Special interest groups, right? This list can go on and on and on and on. Maybe it's a shooting club, or for me, obviously, it's the GOP stuff. Some of my GOP buddies, I see more than some of my family members. And I'm okay with that right now, because those people are people that completely get me. And they know where I'm at in life right now. And we are striving for very similar things. Kids' activities. As parents, right? A lot of our time is consumed by what our kids are doing. So if you can create tribe mates at the events that you're spending your time at anyway, because your kids are there, why not? It's like two birds, one stone, right? I'm all about that in life. Simplicity. And the last one I was thinking about was support groups. Whether this is an in-person thing or online, just because of, the way the place we're at in the world today, a lot of things have shifted to online, and that's okay. You can still find great connections online. Just like I was talking about with the work from home stuff, online support groups. So I'd mentioned I had some coworkers that I connected with this way. In addition to that, two of my absolute closest friends. Honestly, one of which was the one at my side when I gave birth. The other one, she was in Hawaii when I gave birth. She was supposed to be there, but as well, but she was in Hawaii, and I can't blame her, right? I'd stay in Hawaii too. Hey girl, I'll be there later. But the moment their plane landed from Hawaii, she packed up and she headed up to Minnesota because she wanted to spend a week here. She dedicated a whole week of her life to helping me get on my feet with a newborn. But both of these girls, one's in Texas, one's in Arizona. I'm in Minnesota. And we've all been in those three states the whole time as our friendship has flourished. But I met them through support groups that I was in way back when I was a Beachbody coach. We were all Beachbody coaches. We connected in these support groups, had each other's backs, and now I have true ride or die friends. A tip with this is you want to make sure that when you're building your tribe, you are finding people that are not going totally against the grain of your morals and your values, right? Think about my last podcast, the mommy wine culture one. I'm sure that, there's a ton of groups out there that I could go into, and that would kind of be the theme, and they could all get along and have a great time chit-chatting about it. Myself, if I popped in there, I probably wouldn't enjoy it. I'd probably feel stressed out. So make sure wherever you're plugging yourself in, the whole groupthink thing, yeah, you want to have some people in your circle that aren't exactly like you, but you also don't want people that are literally going against the grain of who you are trying to be. There are plenty more fish in the sea, as they say, when it comes to dating, and building your tribe is the same frickin' thing. All right, the last piece of this. So the how. So, okay, Jenna, you told me why I need to build this tribe or build it further, because typically none of us are completely isolated, right? You told me a little bit about where I can begin to look for more tribe members. How the hell do I do it? I'm an adult. This is hard making friends, right? Can anybody relate? Well, first and foremost, if these are in-person things, you need to start to attend. I totally get it, right? Especially since COVID, it has been nice to stay at home in our pajamas and sweatpants and comfy socks, especially if you're up in the cold states, having to leave in the middle of frickin' winter. No thanks. Okay. You're not going to build solid relationships as quickly in the comfort of your home. If you get out there, you're meeting people, you get to see their facial expressions, you get to see what they're up to, you get to kind of feel their vibe, you're going to build a tribe mate way frickin' faster. I think even if you make just a couple brief interactions with them and then you continue to develop it online, I'm thinking specifically of a few gals at church, right? We ran into each other a couple times at some moms groups at church. Then we added each other on social media and our relationships have just deepened from there. But I got to feel how they feel like in person, their energy. So another thing is to volunteer at stuff and really start to deepen connections and let people know you are not afraid to lean in. So whether this is at some of those, random interest groups, for my husband and I, obviously we volunteered a lot of political stuff, but it can be stuff at your kids' school or at their clubs or, at work going above and beyond. Yeah, that is possible. Remember that. But actually leaning in and showing people what you care about can help deepen those bonds as well. Checking online groups. So I can guarantee you that if you go into your Facebook, if you're a Facebook junkie, you have a plethora of Facebook groups that you're already in. How many of them have you really looked in? If you're my people, you have a lot. Because I look at my groups and I'm like, oh my gosh, when did I even get added to this? Interesting. Okay. Look through them a little bit. Maybe there's some cool people in there. And at the same time, as you're looking through and you're, for example, one that I'd been added to a long time ago was a stepmoms group. I'm scrolling through and I'm like, oh my Lana, these people are jerks. I mean, in there just bad-mouthing their stepkids and they used all these acronyms, BM for birth mom and DH for my dear husband. And it was just awful. And nothing. Okay, let's give him some credit. Maybe 10% was positive. I'm like, oh my word, get me out of this group. Because, yeah, my bonus daughter, sometimes she ticks me off. But even if she was my real kid, she would still tick me off, right? I love that kid just like my own. And some of those women, hoofta, no way. I don't need that connection in my life. So, like I was saying, go in there. You might find some really cool tribe people. And on the other hand, you might go into these groups and be like, why am I in here? Ew, delete and clean your Facebook up a little bit, right? My last how is make the ask. This is hard. This part, let's be honest, it sucks. For us as females, I think especially, I don't know, not many of us, had to really go out there and that was the guy's job. Females don't have to typically go out there as much pounding the pavement, doing the asks of, hey, you want to hang out or do you want to go out to lunch? It's typically not on the female. But when it comes to building a tribe, especially if you are a female trying to find more females, one of us is going to have to grow the guts to have to go ask, right? And it doesn't have to be hard. Remember, a lot of times you're asking another mom to kind of hang out or, use your kids as a buffer if you need to. Hey, let's set up a play date for our kids that really get along. Or, hey, you know what? When Johnny has dance class and Susie has gymnastics, let's go hit the Starbucks up the road, right? Use your kids as a buffer zone. So today, talking, like I said, about building these connections and these relationships. It truly can be that magical piece that helps you up-level, finding more success, hopefully adding to your happiness level, right? Because no one wants to be alone. And when you add more cool people to your circle, it's going to help bring a little bit more joy. That's the goal. Whether you're a new parent, politician, somebody like me who is recovering from an addiction, or you're just sitting there and thinking, crap, COVID hit, my circle kind of crumbled, I haven't rebuilt it. It is time to build that community. Your mental health and your physical health deserve it. Make sure that you're finding those people that truly do align with you. They're also people that want to see the best for you and they want to see you grow and up level. Don't pick people that are going to hold you back, right? Remember, you are kind of a compound of all of those close contacts that you have in your life. It's like dating. You might think, hey, this person's going to be awesome for my circle. And then you're like, oh, my Lana, that person was awful. No thanks. But that happens. It's worth it, right? Just like dating. Eventually, you find the right fish. So, I want to thank you so much for tuning in into today's episode. Do not forget to make sure that you follow the podcast, and I would love it if you would rate and review it, and make sure to share it with anybody that you feel could benefit from this message. Don't forget to check the show notes for more information on Michelle Beadles, the independent consultant with Scentsy, so that you can also get addicted to a beautiful smelling home. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Ramblings of an Addict with Jenna Dix. Remember, if you are battling an addiction, reach out for help and support. There are many resources available to assist in your journey towards recovery. Surround yourself with a supportive community and never give up on the path towards a healthier and happier life. I appreciate you taking the time to listen and joining me on this journey. As you heard, I'm always rambling. But seriously, thank you for your support and make sure to subscribe and follow my channel. I can't wait to share more with you on the next episode. Until then, keep on rambling. If you have found this podcast helpful and want to dive deeper into personal growth and self-improvement, be sure to head over to my website, jennadix.com. You'll find a wealth of resources there. There is a little less drugs, sex, and rock and roll these days, but whether you're interested in getting healthy, information on momming or parenting, or politics, jennadix.com has something for everyone. So, what are you waiting for? Head to jennadix.com today and start your journey towards personal growth and self-awareness. See you there.